From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
Good morning to you and welcome to Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey.
And I'm Megan Shin. It's 5 o'clock here on your Wednesday morning.
Good morning to you both. I'm Rafael Sanchez with your headlines. On this February the 10th, controversy over a letter involving the Black Lives Matter movement. How the Hamilton Southeastern School District is handling concerns now raised by some parents and teachers.
Long wait times and problems with the unemployment system. We're looking into complaints with the new ID verification procedure.
And a new bridge project on Indy's north side causing a dangerous situation for drivers. Working for you, the concerns from neighbors and what's being done to fix it. Thanks for joining our team here on this Wednesday morning. Want to get right to our forecast with Todd Clausen. It is a storm team alert day. Todd, what can we expect as we go throughout the day?
You know, we're just going to have this precipitation kind of off and on throughout the day today. It's not a big, massive storm system that is going to be heading our way, but there's going to be kind of waves of precipitation moving in. And that first wave is currently making its way here into southern locations. It's this band of snow that's lifting to the north, Bloomington and Seymour. You're next up for a little bit of snow here. It's already snowing in portions of Bedford, and you notice there's kind of staggered in stairs here as far as the snow comes. So this band comes through, a little bit of a break, then another band comes through. But one of the reasons I went into alert mode this morning for you is here in southern locations, there is some warmer air that's starting to work its way in, and that could result in a brief changeover to some freezing rain. Now, don't think of this as a big icing situation in southern locations. I think mainly it would just impact bridges and overpasses and a few slick spots on the roadways. We're not talking about trees getting coated, power lines coming down, or anything like that. But it is heading into your morning commute, and so that's why we're in alert mode to kind of let you know that that is a possibility there in southern locations. The rest of the area is quiet this morning. We're in the teens and 20s as we work our way throughout the day. Better snow chances will make their way into the area by mid-morning and then into the afternoon for most of the area, and that's when we're going to have the most accumulation across the area. And we could see several inches of snow in some spots here. 22 is all we can do for your high temperature today. So not only are we dealing with precipitation once again, Lauren, we're also dealing with the very cold temperatures.
All right, Todd, well, be careful out there. Let's take a look right now at one incident I'm monitoring. This is up on the north side of town. You can't see it here from our camera, but we do have a report of a disabled vehicle blocking two right lanes as you're traveling eastbound here on 465. This is as you're approaching Keystone Avenue, so just use caution in that area. Traffic is still getting by up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. No delays at this time, but of course we'll continue to monitor that and keep you updated. Rafael?
This morning in the news, a school superintendent now apologizing for a letter to Hamilton Southeastern teachers addressing the Black Lives Matter movement.
That's right. WRTV's Troy Washington joins us live now to explain the concerns and the reaction to the new apology. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning. Now, unfortunately, some feel that the damage is already done and no apology can change that. On Monday, HSE faculty members received an email expressing that some parents expressed some concern over faculty members advancing the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, even though an apology was sent out on Tuesday right away, some people aren't ready to accept that.
I don't know really that there is a moving forward with him in particular. I think it's probably a good thing that we're at this point where there is going to be a change. I just don't know how you fix what he's done.
Now, the superintendent, he'd already planned to retire after this school year. The group is asking for everyone to wear black in solidarity with the movement going forward for this week. Reporting live downtown, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you for that report. Now to the latest on COVID-19 and its impact on Hoosiers. Indiana reporting less than 2,000 new cases for the third day in a row. The State Department of Health shows 1,225 new cases and 67 new deaths. 211 deaths have been reported in February so far. And we will learn more about Indiana's status in Governor Holcomb's briefing this afternoon, Lauren.
It is 5:05, a big step for Eli Lilly and treatments for COVID-19. The FDA has has given emergency use authorization for the company's combination antibody therapy. The treatment uses the drugs bamlanivimab and another drug, which are administered together through an IV. It's shown to reduce the risk of hospitalization and death by 70%, and it can be used on patients at high risk for severe illness. Eli Lilly says that it has 100,000 doses already available for use. They plan to manufacture up to 1 million doses by the end of this year. Raphael.
WRTV is working for you on this Wednesday as many Hoosiers remain at odds with Indiana's unemployment system. The Department of Workforce Development has a new identity verification system to prevent fraud. Catherine Fleener filed for unemployment the week of Christmas and went through the new ID verification process. For some reason, the documents she was required to upload were not verified. She says she called Workforce Development and waited 3 separate times to be connected to a video call to verify her account.
The third time I called, I decided I was staying on until I got through to somebody. It was 8 hours sitting on the system waiting for someone to connect on the video call.
Fleener says she finally got through at 4 o'clock in the morning. She completed the necessary steps and received an email saying that her ID was verified. But now, almost a month later, she's still waiting for her benefits.
I can't believe that they think people should just wait. I mean, all these people are out of work, and other people have to be having the same problem.
The Department of Workforce Development's commissioner has said that 3 out of every 4 claims using the new ID.me system require some sort of additional processing. We reached out to see what the issue is with Fleener's account. The department is working to figure that out this morning.
Help is on the way for residents of Hamilton County who are having trouble paying their rent due to COVID-19. The county has been awarded a $10 million emergency rental assistance grant from the U.S. Department of Treasury. This money will help renters who are unable to pay rent or utilities due to loss of income from the pandemic. The funds will be given through the Westfield, Washington Township Trustees office, and they'll start accepting applications in the spring, Lauren.
Well, at 5:07, a much needed bridge project on the north side is now causing some dangerous conditions because drivers are not following the new temporary traffic pattern. WRTV's own Kelsey Anderson spoke to one woman who's had not one but 2 close calls here since construction began in late December.
So the problem happening here on 86th Street is that those drivers that are heading west, they're ignoring this road closed sign and ignoring these barricades, basically causing a game of chicken between drivers who are doing the right thing and those who aren't.
The Indianapolis Department of Public Works announced at the end of 2020 that the bridge construction would begin here at 86th Street and Oak Landing Road. Now, because of that, this section between Oak Landing Road and Promontory Road would be a one-way street, and drivers heading westbound would have to take a detour. But despite clear signs and large barricades, some drivers are ignoring the new traffic pattern, causing very dangerous situations for drivers. Colleen Miller says she's had a driver come towards her head on, and with schools in the area, she's concerned young drivers won't know what to do if it happens to them.
People are putting convenience over safety. I'm a seasoned driver. I've been driving for a while, but I have a 17-year-old daughter that drives that way. And I don't know how she would react when given the situation of someone coming head on towards her. Honestly, it could be a terrible accident, a head-on collision, or, even just running into the barrier. So, people just really need to heed and understand that, this is going to benefit all of us, and it's an inconvenience, but it's what they need to do to keep people safe.
In an email, a DPW representative tells me, quote, East 86th Street is clearly marked. While we strongly encourage everyone to heed and obey all posted detours around construction projects, Indy DPW is unable to enforce inappropriate decision-making by drivers. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Now, working for you, we reached out to Impd to see how they're monitoring this area to see if more can be done. They say oftentimes incidents like this go in apps like the Nextdoor app, but they never make it to them. So here's what you need to do. If you need to report a traffic complaint to Impd, you can do that online. Just go to indy.gov. Let's get a check right now of our forecast for our Wednesday with Todd Clausen. Todd, it is a cold week out there.
Yeah, and it's going to get worse before it gets better as far as the temperatures hours ago, unfortunately, Lauren. And with this cold air, we haven't had any major snows, although yesterday's was significant there in southern locations. But we haven't had any big, huge areas of low pressure come through our area. We've kind of just been dealing with these bands of snow moving through at times the past week or two. And the snow's now falling in Bedford, just down south of US 50 here as you work your way into Jackson County. And this is going to lift to the north. You see there's several waves of precipitation that are going to be moving in. There's also a little bit of freezing rain getting mixed in near the Louisville area. And that potential climbs into locations, I would say, from Greensburg to Bedford and points to the south. So keep that in mind if you live in that area or you're traveling in that direction. Then as we expand out, there's more snow showers off to our west, and that's what's going to move into northern locations as the day goes on. So it's one of those days where there's basically precipitation in the forecast at all day parts here, but it's not going to be consistent throughout the entire day where it's going to be steady snow or steady freezing rain. It's kind of off and on. So definitely use some caution both this morning and this afternoon. I think this afternoon is when we have the best potential for the accumulating snow, with temperatures only in the low to mid 20s.
Todd, thank you. The Senate has voted to move forward with former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial. What we can expect from this afternoon's proceedings.
And new this morning, a new executive order will welcome more refugees into the country. What this could mean right here for the Hoosier State. That story and much more coming up on WRTV.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. It is 5:14 on your Wednesday. We're taking a live look right now from our tower camera at the North Split. Traffic here in the downtown area is moving along up to speed. If you traveled through this area in the overnight hours, you'll remember we had some lanes blocking the two left lanes of eastbound I-70 there at the North Split. They've since pulled those cones back, opened those lanes back up, so that is good news this morning. So this afternoon, former President Trump's second impeachment trial continues, Raphael.
Yeah, Newsy's Stephanie Lieberg, and she breaks down the Senate vote to move forward, and she also explains what we can expect in the day ahead.
Morning business is closed, and the Senate will convene as a court of impeachment.
The second impeachment trial for former President Trump kicked off Tuesday. The focus of day one, whether the Constitution allows the Senate to hold the trial after Trump left office.
Given the framers' intense focus on danger to elections and the peaceful transfer of power, it is inconceivable that they designed impeachment to be a dead letter in the president's final days in office, when opportunities to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power would be most tempting and most dangerous.
Following a video presentation of the crimes in the Capitol on January 6th, paired with Donald Trump's comments that day, the House managers focused on the need to hold Trump accountable for the actions he took while he was president. They cited the past impeachments of Senator William Blunt and Secretary of War William Belknap, whose impeachment trials were held after they left office. Trump's defense team argued the House impeachment process was rushed and lacked due process for the former president. They also said Trump's comments at the January 6th rally are protected by the First Amendment.
We can't possibly be suggesting that we punish people for political speech in this country. I've seen quite a number of the complaints that were filed against the people who breached the Capitol. Some of them charged conspiracy. Not a single one of them, I noticed, charges conspiracy with the 45th President of the United States.
Trump's lawyers also said the House manager's presentation caused them to change their plan at the last minute.
I'll be quite frank with you. We changed what we were going to do on account that we thought that the House manager's presentation was well done. And I wanted you to know that we have responses to those things.
After arguments concluded, the Senate voted 56 to 44 to proceed with the trial. 6 Republicans joined the Democratic caucus to vote yes. Tuesday's vote was actually the second time senators weighed in on the constitutionality of the impeachment trial. On January 26th, Senator Rand Paul forced a vote on the same issue. At that time, 5 Republicans broke with their caucus to support moving forward. The Senate trial will continue Wednesday at noon Eastern. The House managers will start using their 16 hours to present their case. Stephanie Liebergen, Newsy, Washington.
Stephanie, thank you. Both of Indiana Senators Mike Braun and Todd Young voted against the trial's constitutionality. Senator Braun tweeted a statement saying that he has been against the impeachment trial because Mr. Trump is no longer in office. He says in part that Democrats and Republicans should be uniting the country over COVID-19 and the economy rather than dividing it over this trial.
Raphael, a new executive order will impact people seeking refuge in the United States. Last week, President Joe Biden signed an executive order to rebuild the U.S. refugee resettlement program. The change raises the annual cap on refugee admissions to 125,000 people. Last year, fewer than 12,000 refugees came into the U.S. Exodus is a local group that assists with resettlement in Indianapolis. Now, the group's executive director says this change is a win, but it will take time and a lot of work to even get close to reaching the goal.
We lost a lot of staff, a lot of institutional knowledge during these years, not just us, but many agencies, and some agencies shuttered completely.
In 2016, Exodus welcomed nearly 950 refugees to Indianapolis, helping them resettle their lives. Last year, they brought in 175. Time now is 5:19, and Todd, everyone's wondering how cold is it going to get?
You know, it's going to be in the negative numbers by the time we get to the weekend, and on Sunday, Valentine's Day highs may not even get back to 10 degrees. So there's definitely a lot of cold air that has been in place, and it's going to even get colder going forward. Our immediate concern, though, today is going to be precipitation once again moving into the area, and the potential for another 1 to 3 inches of snow in spots. That's not a widespread swath of 1 to 3 inches. And this morning in southern locations and even into the early afternoon hours in far southern locations, there could be a little bit of a wintry mix with some freezing rain moving in. When you look at radar right now, there's not a whole lot going on, but we'll take you down into Lawrence County and Bedford, where the snow is coming down here this morning, over towards Medora as well. And this is just getting ready to push into the Lake Monroe area here in southern portions of Monroe County. And then eventually this band of snow is going to head towards Bloomington. And there's several bands of snow that are going to be working their way through the area. Now in Kentucky, it's a pretty significant ice storm. And it's not out of the question, as some warmer air comes into the higher levels of the atmosphere, that there could be a little bit of freezing rain in southern locations. The biggest impact from that freezing rain would be slick spots on the roadways. We're not talking about a big icing event here. And you can see that on this computer model. It brings some icing in just south of Greensburg into Seymour and Bedford, and then points to the south. North of that line, we're going to continue to deal with some snow showers off and on throughout the day. And off and on is the key word there, because we're not going to be dealing with snow throughout the entire day or 1 day part where it's going to be, say, oh, we're going to have snow for 3 hours straight and then it's done for the day. It's kind of off and on here throughout the day and into the evening hours. Now, I do think there's going to be a band of snow, very similar to what happened Monday night into Tuesday, yesterday in southern locations when we got into that 3 to 6 inch band. I don't think there's as much moisture with it, but I think the potential for that 1 to 3 band today is going to be somewhere just north of Indianapolis. On either side of that, you're only looking at 1 inch or less of snow throughout the day today. And here's some specific numbers in your hometowns. And you can see, you know, Indianapolis is probably in that 1 to 2 inch range. I'm thinking that higher band of snow is going to set up shop just north of Indy somewhere, and you could get up to right around 3 inches. And the main bulk of that accumulation is going to happen during the afternoon hours and not for the morning commute. 15 degrees right now in Peru, 20 in Indy, 22 in Bloomington. Wind chills in the single digits again this morning. Wind chills this afternoon only going to be right around 11 degrees. It's a very, very cold day for us from start to finish. Tomorrow, a bit of a break. Could be some snow showers in the morning, but still cold, right around 21 degrees. And then look what happens to our high temperatures as we work our way into the weekend. We stay in the 20s here Wednesday, Thursday, and then we drop suddenly as we head into Saturday and Sunday. Valentine's Day, 10 degrees for your high temperature. We wake to temperatures below zero most likely on Valentine's Day morning. Wind chills are going to be in that minus 20 to minus 30 degree range. And then as we head into next week, it's still below freezing. And the storm system Monday into Tuesday could be a little more significant, something we'll have to watch as the weather pattern is going to start to change just a little bit. Lauren.
All right, Todd, thank you. Let's take a look right now at your commute as you're heading out the door this morning. Just be aware of any slick spots that may have refrozen overnight. This is a look on I-65 and Southport Road on the south side. Traffic here is traveling up to speed. We did see an INDOT truck moving across there, so they do have some drivers out there checking on the road conditions. Also want to mention we do have some school delays and closings. Those are on the WRTV app and scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Brown County closed today. Greensburg Community Schools on a 2-hour delay. Of course, we'll keep you updated on the other side of the break. Stay with us.
Welcome back. A Las Vegas hockey superfan is kicking herself after missing a surprise of a lifetime, Raphael.
But I don't blame her. Listen to this story, right? So Megan McDonald was sitting in her living room when she heard a knock on her front door. She checked her Ring doorbell and did not recognize the man. So, of course, being smart, being safe, she did not answer. But here's the problem. It turns out it was 3-time Stanley Cup champion Marc-Andre Fleury, McDonald's favorite all-time player. He was personally delivering an autographed jersey that she had won in a COVID relief raffle. She says it wasn't until she received an email from Fleury's agent confirming the delivery that she realized what happened. I feel really bad for her, Todd, but, I would do the same thing unless you are fully dressed up in your, ice hockey gear with the puck and the stick, and I don't recognize you. I mean, he had a tie on.
All right.
Sometimes we look out of place when we don't have our stuff going on, right?
Yeah, the goalie always has a mask on too, so maybe, maybe. Jersey,
we all can't be Todd Clausen, Debonair, right? We all can't have that look.
When I come to your doorbell, Raphael, you better answer that door. So, all right. Outside.
Bring a shovel. Bring a shovel.
No, you got a snowblower. I'm not worried about you. All right. Outside right now, we have some snow showers making their way into the area in southern locations, and we're going to be dealing with these snow showers off and on throughout the course of the day, and then eventually they get a little more intense, I think, this afternoon. And so the bottom line is, as you take to the roadways here this morning, if you encounter some precipitation, obviously we're in the middle of winter, you've done this before, just slow down, give yourself some extra time. There will be some accumulation as we head into the afternoon and evening hours. More on that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.
From the station working for you, this is Good Morning Indiana, streaming now.
And I want to welcome you in here to Good Morning Indiana at 5:30. Guys, we got to talk about the weather first and foremost.
Yeah, Todd, how's it going to look today?
Yeah, it's a Storm Team 6 and alert day today, and we're in alert mode for several reasons. Obviously, it's been very cold. We have snow on the ground in spots. In fact, we have a lot of snow on the ground in spots here in southern locations. We're going to add to that a little bit. One slightly different element that gets thrown into the forecast today, and it's not a guarantee, but I want to make you aware of that, is in southern locations here, some warmer air is going to start to come in, and there could be a little bit of mixing with some freezing rain that's going to take place. I think it's only an issue on a line from Greensburg to Bloomington and points to the south, and right now it's just some snow moving into the area. But obviously just be aware if you see some rain and you think, oh, it's not snow, it's just going to be easy to get through the streets and over the bridges and overpasses. Not the case. Just be aware if it does change to rain in your neighborhood, it is going to be freezing rain because temperatures today at the surface are not going to be getting above freezing. These snow showers will continue to overspread the area as well. Here are those temperatures, teens and 20s. Wind chill values are going to be in the single digits throughout most of the morning. Now this afternoon we get another wave of snow that's going to be coming in, and it's the wave in the afternoon that has the best potential to put down the most accumulation today. We're looking at maybe 1 to 3 inches in spots, not widespread. More on those totals coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at your commute as you're heading out the door this morning. This is I-70 at Rural Street and Keystone Avenue, just a little east of the downtown area where everything is picking up, traveling up to speed, no delays to slow down your commute. Let's take one more live look this morning. I-70 all the way out of State Road 39, the Monrovia area. You can see traffic there is pretty quiet. We'll continue to keep a close eye on your roads throughout the morning, let you know if there are any major trouble spots to avoid.
Lauren, good morning to you. And in the news this morning, a controversy over how to teach the Black Lives Matter movement now surfacing this morning in Hamilton County in Fishers. This issue now set to be addressed at a meeting tonight of the Hamilton Southeastern School Board. Our Troy Washington joins us now to explain what's going on. Troy, good morning.
Good morning. Now, the first letter went out, and originally it expressed that some parents were concerned that teachers were advancing the Black Lives Matter movement. Now, right away, another apology was sent out on Tuesday, apologizing and saying that this is one of the most significant parts of our time. However, some people are saying it's a misunderstanding, while others aren't ready to move on.
It's a social justice movement that needs and demands change in policy and demands systemic changes so that we can continue to protect unarmed, in this case for Black Lives Matter, unarmed, innocent Black men and women and children from being murdered.
Now, this group is calling for everyone in their community to wear black in solidarity for the remainder of the week. Now, the superintendent, he was planning to retire before this even took place. Reporting live downtown, I'm Troy Washington, WRTV.
Troy, thank you. Drivers say a much-needed bridge project on the north side is now causing a dangerous situation.
That's right. Working for you, our own Kelsey Anderson talks with one woman in the area who says she's had some close calls since that construction started. Kelsey. And we'll get back to Kelsey's story here in just a minute. We're going to skip along to talk about the Metro bill. You may still be in shock if you have higher than normal electric bill prices. We've been checking in with customers on this issue, and we're learning you're not alone.
How am I going to pay it? I'm a single mom. I work 3 to 4 nights a week at the hospital, and I go to school part-time. So it's like, how am I going to get it? How am I going to pay it?
Well, several Hoosiers we reached out to WRTV about their increased electric bills. Jennifer Hooper lives in a 2-bedroom apartment on the south side of Indianapolis. She says her IPL bill is usually $70 or $80. Well, this month she says it's $122. Lou Middleton with Duke Energy talked to us about why customers may be getting higher bills no matter their provider.
The single biggest factor is the outdoor weather. And last year, we did not have single-digit temperatures very often, if at all. And this year, we have much colder weather. Another factor this year is that we have people working at home, and so they're using more electricity for cooking and washing. The kids are at home, and so that always drives the power bill up.
Well, we reached out to IPL. Company officials say the weather and working from home are 2 factors that contribute to higher bills. Megan.
A proposal to build an Islamic development in Hendricks County has been rejected. Commissioners voted 3-0 against the project. It would have been built on land near Ronald Reagan Parkway and Interstate 74 just outside of Brownsburg. County commissioners say the site was not adequate for such a large development. The organization Muslim Advocates condemned the decision, calling it an act of bigotry. You can read more about this story by downloading the WRTV News app, Lauren.
It is 5:36. A bill to improve workplace accommodations for pregnant women is moving forward in the State House, but supporters of this are likely not happy. That legislation approved by Indiana House Committee is a weakened version of the original proposal. The House bill would not provide accommodations for pregnant women at work, like longer breaks or a temporary transfer to a less hazardous position. Instead, women could request accommodations from their employer, something they can already do without this law. Now, meanwhile, a Senate bill requiring public school students to complete the FAFSA is moving forward in the House. The FAFSA determines if a student is eligible for federal, state, or college-sponsored financial aid. Under that plan, approved on Tuesday, high school seniors would be required to fill out a FAFSA form unless a parent or school administrator signs a waiver. The bill's author says the legislation is required to increase the state's low FAFSA completion rates. The National College Attainment Network says only 60% of Indiana's grads complete the FAFSA as in the last year. Raphael?
Good morning to Anderson, Muncie, and Columbus. We now turn to the pandemic and its impact on our state. This morning, state health officials report more than 1,200 new cases of the virus. They also report 67 more people in Indiana have died with COVID-19. So far this month, 211 Hoosiers have died with coronavirus. Taking a look at the vaccine dashboard here, more than 19,000 Hoosiers were given their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. So far, nearly 719,000 people in Indiana have at least the first vaccine shot. 240,000 Hoosiers are fully vaccinated against the virus, I should say. Demand for a coronavirus vaccine is creating a new opportunity for scammers, so be alert. A new report shows that Facebook pages, they're advertising a vaccine for sale out of China. Now here's the point. China does not have an approved vaccine. Researchers say messenger chats with other scammers stated that they could ship the Moderna and Pfizer vaccines at the proper temperatures. That's not true. The catch was the buyers needed to pay for the phony vaccines with a gift card. So please be aware of what's online out there is just simply, in many cases, not true when it comes to the vaccine. Now, time to check your forecast. Our Todd Clausen is tracking a storm team alert day. Good morning, Todd.
Yeah, Raphael, good morning to you. Not a major storm system heading our way, but it's going to be an inconvenience at the most inappropriate times here because we're going to be dealing with some snow moving into southern locations this morning for the morning commute. And then for the evening commute, we're going to be dealing with some snow across parts of the area as well. Here's the first band of snow that's lifting to the north right now. It's basically through Bedford, approaching Seymour, approaching Lake Monroe, and eventually it's going to be pushing into Bloomington. There's the second band of snow that's right behind it. This could put down a quick coating, and that's just about it. It's enough to slicken up the roadways. One thing we'll watch here in southern locations is the potential for a little bit of freezing rain to mix in, although it looks like that's staying, at least right now, down in portions of Kentucky. So that will be good news for us. But there is more snow off to our west. This wave kind of slides into northern locations as we work our way into the afternoon and evening hours. So it's going to be one of those days where it's not going to be snowing at all times, but when it does snow, there will be the potential for the roads quickly to get covered because temperatures today are going to be staying only in the teens and 20s. More on snow totals coming up in just a few minutes.
Todd, thank you so much. Downtown businesses in Indianapolis seeking a shot at a better year this morning while they say their future now relies on the hardwood. That story and much more on this Wednesday right here on Good Morning Indiana.
Welcome back. Now to this story. Drivers say a much-needed bridge project on the north side is now causing a dangerous situation for people.
That's right. Working for you, our own Kelsey Anderson talked to a woman in the area who said she's had some close calls since that construction started. Kelsey.
It has happened to my husband. My mother and father live in the neighborhood. And if you get on kind of our neighborhood next door app, I mean, there's just so many different incidences of this happening.
Colleen Miller lives in the Admirals area, and she's encouraging drivers to heed caution in Lawrence if they're taking 86th Street as the city works to replace the bridge that connects Oaklandon Road to the Admirals neighborhoods.
It's been a big concern of the neighborhood for years about, repairing or replacing the bridge.
She says the bridge repair is much needed, but some drivers aren't following the new traffic pattern while construction is underway. According to the Indianapolis Department of Public Works, East 86th Street has become a one-way road, and drivers can only head eastbound between Oaklandon Road and Promontory Road.
People are putting convenience over safety.
So the problem happening here on 86th Street is that those drivers that are heading west, they're ignoring this road closed sign and ignoring these barricades, basically causing a game of chicken between drivers who are doing the right thing and those who aren't.
I was driving home, I'm heading east on 86th to turn into the neighborhood, and someone came at me head on. I was able to kind of shift over to the side of the road and they went by me. So that was the first incident. And then the second incident happened just about a week ago. It was during the day, and same situation, somebody coming head on towards me.
She tells me the signage and barricades make it clear the road is closed heading east.
I feel like people know that they're not supposed to be doing it, so I really believe at this point it's not a matter of not knowing, but it's a matter of not following.
In an email, a DPW representative tells me, quote, East 86th Street is clearly marked. While we strongly encourage everyone to heed and obey all posted detours around construction projects, Indy DPW is unable to enforce inappropriate decision-making by drivers.
The bridge isn't supposed to be completed until July. So, I mean, there's many more months of this, and I just think something really terrible is going to happen if somebody doesn't step in and have a greater presence and kind of stopping people from just disobeying, the rules.
Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. We reached out to Impd to see how they're monitoring this area. They tell us oftentimes incidents like this go in apps like Nextdoor, but never make it to them. We'll put a link on our website for you to send a traffic complaint to Metro Police. Lauren.
All right, it is 5:46. The Big Ten Men's Basketball Championship is officially coming right here to the Circle City. The tournament is being held ahead of the March Madness games, which for the first time will be held exclusively in the state of Indiana. For the Pearl Street Pizzeria and Pub, that is music to its ears. It sits just a block from Bankers Life Fieldhouse. Kyle Denton is the bartender and the only server working at Pearl Street. He says the news of more hoops in Indy is encouraging after seeing a surge in business following limited attendance at Pacer games.
Yeah, definitely the more events there are, we do see a lot more people. We have people calling in for large groups of people, and we can only have so many people in the store.
Well, Denton says that he and other business owners are waiting to hear how many fans, if any, will be allowed at the games. He says that has a huge impact on the amount of supplies that he needs to order. Under current guidelines here in Marion County, sporting events are allowed to have up to 25% capacity. Raphael.
And now to the nation's capital. History being made in Washington this week, marking the first time, Lauren, that a president is facing an impeachment trial for the second time.
ABC's Andrew Dimbert is on Capitol Hill today with what we can expect as the trial moves forward later this afternoon.
The Senate chamber under siege a month ago. Now a courtroom. Senators reliving the Capitol attack on the first day of former President Donald Trump's second impeachment trial. House impeachment managers using searing images from the January 6th attack to lay claim that Trump incited the deadly insurrection, using his own words to plead their case.
And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
Lead Democratic prosecutor Jamie Raskin recounting how his family was with him that day at the Capitol, his emotions weighing heavy as he recalled what his daughter said to him.
She said, "Dad, I don't want to come back to the Capitol."
Day one for this unprecedented trial was meant to focus on the constitutionality of the trial itself, with Democrats arguing Trump can still be impeached even though he's no longer in the Oval Office. But Trump's lead defense attorney, Bruce Castor, spent most of his time on the floor sauntering through arguments that weren't clearly related to those constitutional questions.
United States senators are patriots first. They love their country. They love their families.
Even Republican Senators Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski say they were confused.
I was perplexed by the first attorney who did not seem to make any arguments at all.
And sources tell ABC News Trump was not pleased with the performance of his defense team. Trump's other attorney, David Schoen, getting things back on track, trying to assert since Trump was removed from office by the will of the American voters, Democrats have no case.
For a great many Americans see this process for exactly what it is: a chance by a group of partisan politicians seeking to eliminate Donald Trump from the American political scene.
But after the 4 hours of arguments, senators voting to move ahead with the trial, with 6 Republicans siding with Democrats that the trial is constitutional, even though Trump is no longer president. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Capitol Hill.
All right, it's a Storm Team 6 alert day here. As you walk out the door, you're going to be dealing with some precipitation off and on throughout the course of the day today. This morning, there's the potential for a little bit of freezing rain in southern locations only. The rest of the area is going to be dealing with some light snow this afternoon, and then it will taper off later on this evening. Here's a current look at radar, and there's not a whole lot out there this morning. You have to come here into southern locations to find this band of snow that's now lifted through Bedford, pushing into Lake Monroe. It's moving into the Seymour area as well, and you get a little bit of a break. And then another band of snow is making its way into the Mitchell area. Right now, it looks like most of the freezing rain is staying to our south, which is good news. If we could avoid that, that's always good. But even if you do see a little bit of freezing rain in those southern locations, it's not going to cause enough to cause any damage to the trees or power lines. It's just going to be an issue for maybe a few slick spots on the roadways, mainly those bridges and overpasses. While still unorganized here off to our west, That's the snow that's going to be making its way into our area as we work our way into the coming days. Now, we have not had the major storms here across the area. They've all been on the East Coast, and that's because of the way the weather pattern's been set up. The jet stream has been just to our south. That's why they've been getting a lot of those major storms or bigger storms in Kentucky and points to the south. And we've just kind of been on the northern fringe of these areas of low pressure that have been making their way through the area. The cold air has been in place, obviously. We don't know that. But eventually, as these lows have passed off to the East Coast, they become major storm systems, and that's why you have all the big snows from Boston to New York down even into Washington, D.C. Well, this weather pattern, there's some indications that it's going to change starting next week, and that'll help to bring the temperatures up. But to get there, there's the potential for a larger storm system as we work our way into Monday and Tuesday. Today's, it's kind of a minor event. We'll deal with snow showers off and on throughout the course of the day, although I do think there will be one band this afternoon that sets up from Indianapolis to the north that could put down about 1 to 3 inches of accumulation. Outside of that band, you're generally looking at an inch or less, with some of that icing potentially taking place in far southern locations. Well, the snow doesn't come all at once. It's kind of periodically off and on throughout the course of the day. And here are some specific totals with the computer model matching up with my thinking, about 1 to 3 inches here to the north, and then less as you work your way down into southern locations. Temperatures today, they are going to stay in the low to mid 20s across the area. That's where we stay temperature-wise through Friday. Saturday, 22's dry. Valentine's Day, 10 degrees, -1 to start your Sunday, though. And then as we get into next week, Monday, Tuesday, that storm system we'll have to keep an eye on, with temperatures eventually climbing back up to only 21 degrees by Tuesday. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take it down to the south side right now, where we're monitoring a stalled vehicle here. This is I-65 and Southport Road. It's blocking the right lane as you're traveling southbound on the interstate, not causing any slowdowns, but just see the lights, stay over to the left and take it easy as you head through that spot. We have some ongoing traffic shifting and lane work going on between Edgewood Avenue and Southport Road in this area. So just always keep your eyes on the roads, especially as you head through that spot. Right now, no other major crashes to slow you down, so that is good news this morning. Megan?
Lauren, thank you so much. Coming up, a sea creature like you've never seen before. What experts say makes this lobster look more like a yellow submarine. We'll have that story right after the break. Welcome back. You have probably seen a red lobster, maybe even a blue lobster, but the University of New England is introducing us to a yellow lobster. Meet Banana the lobster. Banana's yellow color comes from a pigment in its shell. Experts say the odds of catching one are about 1 in 30 million. Officials have no plans of buttering up this beauty. The university will be housing the lobster as they work on a lobster research project. And Todd, you know, maybe it's a good time to stay inside and cook some seafood, I guess.
Yeah, you know, comfort food that's cold outside, whatever you want to stay warm, is certainly advisable, as we'll be dealing with some cold temperatures here over the course of the next week. And how about this? Once again, some snow in the forecast across parts of the areas. These bands of snow continue to make their way into southern portions of the area. They don't last very long, but you see these darker shades of blue pretty intense in spots, so definitely could put down a quick coating, and they'll continue to lift north through Bloomington and Greensburg here this morning. But then there's more snow that's going to be heading our way later on this afternoon. It's a day that conditions will be changing as the day progresses, so just be careful on the roadways if you're going to be out and about. We'll break down the snowfall totals for you and look ahead to your weekend forecast coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues right here on WRTV.